Keeping venomous reptiles is an unforgiving hobby, requiring proper training and lots of experience. One simple mistake can be the difference between life and death. Remember, the most venomous snake in the world is the one that just bit you. There are no venomous snakes with training wheels. Just because you see viperkeeper handle snakes a certain way does not mean you should try it too.
Hello everybody, this is viperkeeper. I just wanted to share something with you, something special, something that you were all involved in achieving this particular goal. YouTube started to award plaques for the number of subscribers that you have. The first milestone that they award, well, one milestone, I don't know the full range, but is 100,000 subscribers to your YouTube channel. Currently, the viperkeeper channel is over 214,000 subscribers, so I don't know where the next level, maybe gold is, maybe it's 500,000 or something like that. I don't know, but you're all responsible for this. I hope you can see this. I'm tipping it in a bunch of different ways. It's in a very light font, but it's a YouTube plaque, silver level for 100,000 subscribers. I thank you all very much. Mrs. Viperkeeper and I are very grateful for subscribing to our channel, and we hope to get to the next milestone. Again, thanks to everybody who subscribes. Remind me that this is up here, that it's got mouse juice, but I want to use it to dispose of uneaten morsels. It was funny, Miss Arutu took a wild swing as usual. Speaking of wild swings,
this is always entertaining.
Mr. Kazakanovi, I just put together a video that when we put him in his cage, he was so butthurt. When we came into the room, he went scooting to the back and was hiding in his foliage, and now he's back to normal, right in front of the cage, like, you haven't fed me in 12 hours, I'm starving. Really got to be careful. I don't want to get nipped by him. You missed. You missed. You're trying to bite everything in sight. He's a maniac. And look at his weight, okay? He's solid, all right? He's not starving at all. So he just gets these small morsels, but gets very insulted because they're so small. You know, people overfeed their snakes. I would love to give them all the food they wanted to eat. They deserve it. However, it's not in their best interest to do that. Are you happy now, Mr. K? Huh?
He'll just be back begging the next time we come in.
Yes. We'll make sure that we film him when we come back with more mice, because he'll be back there filming away. Foaming at the mouth, so to speak, to get something to eat. This is the most troublesome little rattlesnake I've ever encountered. He will be 4 in June, and he's still a problem feeder. He has no problem trying to take food. But unless you get it lined up directly down his gullet like I just did with this fuzzy, he sort of keeps it in his mouth, drops it, and then forgets about it. I just took a dead, frozen thawed fuzzy out of his cage from yesterday that I handed it to him, and he dropped it, didn't eat it, and I just found it when I was making my rounds, and he dropped it in his water dish, which I had to remove because he needs to be cleaned or replaced, but at least at the moment it looks like it's down his gullet. Now hopefully he doesn't regurgitate because he's been known to do that also. Well, at first, if you don't succeed feeding a rat to a rhino viper, you always have a backup snake that will enthusiastically embrace a meal. This is a 2016 Benin rhino viper. The other one is a 2012 Ghanan from Ghana, West Africa. The girl that's not eating and sort of head bobbing was on exhibit loan for a number of years, and that exhibit closed, so now she's back at the lair. Okay, so Mr. Soshiruki hasn't fed in a couple of weeks because the local pet store where I get live feeders was closed. So I give him this live mouse. He absolutely slams it. Holds on to it till it's dead. And then has left it here for the past hour. And apparently does not look like he's interested. Don't know what his issue is, but
Well,
yes,
she wants it.
Yes, Miss Lard asked there. Will definitely eat it. You know, she's the mother of all the Death Adders that's been produced here for quite some time. You know, she's got a huge amount of weight on her, and I'm feeding her small items once a week just to sort of placate her, just until this weight comes down, and I'm hoping that there isn't some sort of, you know, I haven't pulled her out and tubed her and palpated her abdomen and make sure that there's nothing bad going on in there. I just don't know, but you know, during the COVID crisis here, taking a bite would be really, really bad, because bites by exotic venomous snakes under normal conditions are really bad. Hi, Mr. Puffy. Mr. Puffy is creeping around the corner hoping that I have something for him to eat. He's going to be upset when I open the glass and he doesn't get anything. Hi, Mr. Puffy. Hi, bud. I know you don't detect any rats. Oh, I'm the biggest rat in the room, he probably thinks. But how you doing? I will feed you. Yes, you will get something to eat. I know, I know. Big shout out to a couple of people, Tina Jakes and my friend Kelly and Rob in Arizona. They sent a little bit of extra cash through PayPal to help feed the animals a little bit. I just spent $1,000 on food supplies at Rodent Pro, who's my main supplier. I also have local suppliers at all the reptile shows, and I prefer to spend my money locally on, you know, private people that that raise rodents locally and keep the money in the economy here. But with the reptile shows all shut down, I went back and made a large purchase at Rodent Pro. So that will keep them in food for quite some time. So we'll be back a little later. Oh, really? We'll be back a little bit later with some food. Well, hi, Mr. Puffy. Easy, Mr. Puffy. Really, huh? You know, I've got chicks this week. I don't know if he's going to be happy with it, but he can make that determination. Okay, I think that's determined. Are you happy now, huh? While you have your mouth full, can I steal your poop? He doesn't like when I steal his poop. And actually, it's a very, it's too...
Yeah, that's too dangerous.
It's too risky. The tweezers are not long enough. Although the grabber might be safe. Oops, sorry. Never poke a puff at her. There we go. Now usually I'll examine his poop because usually there's prizes in there. Namely some shed fangs, but I will do that later. I'll let Mrs. Viperkeeper watch Mr. Puffy. Is he still just sitting there?
Yeah, he's still just sitting here.
Yeah, he's not necessarily so excited about being watched while he eats. He was probably having a mild stroke inside when I took his poop and actually touched his tail by accident. So we're going to shut his door and we're going to let him eat his chick without us intervening. Oh, there we go. See? Makes them feel a little bit more secure.
Or not. He suddenly
yeah,
froze again.
Don't stick the camera in his face. Shikari.
There's another one who's been waiting very patiently.
Yep.
Isn't she beautiful?
Yeah.
She also has a very long reach, so I'm getting out of the way.
Yes, and that's why we don't open cages with our fingers. The Mexican green rattlesnake is the largest of the rattlesnakes, right up there with the eastern diamondback and western diamondback. These are the largest forms. I've seen them bigger than this. These things can grow absolutely monstrous in size. Your typical hemorrhagic type venom are found in Mexico, and actually I just recently read a paper where there's enough venom variation from area to area where they're found that you almost have to give the two different types of Mexican antivenom available in order to neutralize all the potent fractions in their venom. So we'll close this and let her do her thing, even though she's probably not happy because it's not a rat. Mr. Puffy, you should maybe put that down and try to maneuver it head first. But of course he is interested in doing it his way and won't be interested in anything else. Alright, so in this cage, well, I'll open this side so you get a clear view. We have a rhino viper. This rhino viper, the baby that I got several years ago, comes from Benin in Western Africa. You know, the problem is that I hate putting my hand on the straight line for potential attack, but rhino vipers usually don't necessarily miss. Now that's typical for a rhino or a gaboon viper to do, and that's to get the animal high off the ground, so if they struggle, their feet can't get purchase on the ground and get away and struggle harder. With those large fangs and that copious amount of highly toxic venom that chick was just injected with, the struggle would not be long. But that's a typical behavior of rhino vipers and gaboons. Puff adders, as you can see, they're like honey badgers, they just don't care. Okay, so we're going to work with Mr. Barnetti. He's a Bothrop, so we always have to be very careful with Bothrops. It'd be better if you just took one step back and zoomed in for a little bit more of a close-up. He's generally a pretty relaxed dude. And there you have it. I don't often give him chicks. I'm not sure that he is going to eat that, but if he's hungry, he'll eat it because I didn't feed him last week. Because of the coronavirus and stuff, I am spacing out feeding, so I have what's in the freezer last longer. He's a pretty shy dude, though. He's okay with me, but he will quickly scurry to the back of the cage at any slight disturbance. So he's from the coastal plains in Peru and stuff, sort of the arid regions. So he's not your typical wetland sort of Bothrops, like, you know, Atrox and Asper and those guys that live in sort of wet areas. He's from a more dry zone in coastal Peru, just after the clouds come up the coastline. In order to get over the Andes Mountains, they drop the rains on the Andes, and then, you know, the plains beyond the Andes are mostly desert. Well, he lives in the coastal area, so the water he gets is basically due in the morning. So we're going to leave him alone, let him eat, because he'll be freaked out otherwise. And we'll see who else wants something to eat. Well, every once in a while, Elvis's light goes out and it needs to be replaced. Not that he climbs his tree often and hangs out in there. But it does provide a little bit better lighting for the camera, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill his mouth with one of his favorite things, and that's a rat. And hopefully that will allow me to change his light bulb. Usually, and I say usually, he's not likely to drop the rat. I know. I'm just going to change the light bulb, dude. Oh, I know. Believe me, I'm not trying to piss you off. There you go. Now, I will take your filthy water bowl if you'll allow me. I know you're watching me. All I'm doing is taking your water bowl to clean it, so you have something fresh water to drink once you're done. So let me go do that, and then we'll put it back, and that'll be the end of our Elvis ordeal for the week during the COVID lockdown. Okay, Mr. Elvis, are you going to be in hyperspace, or are you going to be somewhat behaved today?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, he knows. It's his turn. There we go. Ed, you can take it back there. You can take it back. I'm going to let it go. But with my other hand now, I'm going to grab the hook. And I'm going to carefully remove the water dish. I'm just going to put that there. You can watch him. If he comes out, you can just run.
Yeah. Run and scream.
Usually, though, once he has it in his mouth, there's no way that you're gonna. If you try to take it out of his mouth, that's when you get into a very dangerous situation. No, I'm not coming after your food. I'm just giving you a clean water dish. And we need to put some water in it, so I will be right back.
Yeah, these guys are known for being bulldogs. They grab a hold and don't let go. And they pump venom in the entire time they hold on.
Yes, not a snake to be bitten by. The venom is not as toxic as some of the snakes that are at the lair. However, he has a huge quantity of it. Now, Elvis always takes a big drink after he eats, so we try to make sure that he has fresh water. He does look a little twitchy now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So okay, so he's a
Leave
little
it be.
cranky right now, hangry probably. So we're just gonna shut this, and we're gonna let him do his thing and not bother him. So.
What's up, dude, huh? That is a funny position you're in. You worked your back end way up there, and you're still huffing and puffing. Silly snake.